may have never seen a lacrosse game in your life, and you may have never even heard about the sport until a couple of years ago. But if you intend on having your child play a college sport, you might want to give the sport some attention. Lacrosse is very unknown in America. Although it was created here nearly 400 years ago, it's very similar to soccer, hockey, and basketball, and is the fastest growing sport in the country right now. In this speech, we're going to talk about first its Native American roots and what it means to the natives, and then we're going to talk about the rules and the similarities to other sports, and lastly, we're going to talk about the speed at which it's growing. So, to talk about the Native Americans, it's very religious for most of the Native American groups. For the Iroquois Confederacy, that's where the Thompson brothers are from. They're like the face of Native American lacrosse. It's very religious. They believe that their creator gave them the sport, and to honor their creator, they must play it. And I can attribute this to an article on CBS46.com. Sports producer Nick Morgan wrote that, and it's very important. And they have lots of problems on the reservation. Like many Native American reservations, they have money issues, they have education issues. For the Thompsons, they were the first of their family to go to college, and all three of them went to Albany, and they started the TAC there. And it was a big deal because it was the first time that they ever had two brothers and a cousin. So Mile and Lyle are brothers, and the cousin Ty Thompson. And it was just a big deal to have them all three start. And they were the most productive attack, they had the most productive offense in the NCAA that year. So that's a really big deal. Not only were they the most productive, they attracted a lot of attention to the sport. They have long hair down to their backs, and it brought a lot of attention to Native Americans and their culture. And many people started to realize the Native American ties to the sport, and they wanted that. They wanted to they are very prideful of their culture and their religion. They wanted their families and their culture to get attention. So that's the Thompson brothers and the Native American roots. It was created in like 400 years ago. Next, let's talk about its similarities to other sports. So it's very similar to soccer, hockey, and basketball, which is why I think more Americans should give it some attention. It's like soccer because it's very fast paced. You're moving the entire time. You're always running. It's like hockey because you're trying to put not puck, but you're trying to put the ball in the back of the net in lacrosse. And it's like basketball because it's very team oriented. You have to do everything. Just like a basketball player, you have to be able to shoot and you have to be able to play defense. That's the same thing in lacrosse. Even though there's defenders and attackers, it's still you have to be able to play defense and you have to be able to pass the ball. The thing about lacrosse is many people don't know how physical it is. For one, because women's lacrosse, there's no contact. And it puts a shadow over how physical men's lacrosse really is. It's very physical. You can hit with your body. You can hit with your stick. People do get hurt. It's very physical. And it's very entertaining to watch. So, lastly, why is it so important not to ignore lacrosse if you want your child to play a college sport? This is because according to scholarships.com, a men's high school athlete has a 13% chance of playing at the NCAA level. This may not sound high, but this is very high. The next closest is 11%, and that's hockey. To put this in perspective, 5% of high school football players make it to any division of college football. So 13%, that's almost triple the amount of football players making it to college lacrosse. Or not the amount, but the percent. So basically that says if you want your child to play a college sport, you should put him in lacrosse. He has the best chance by far. And this is because the sport is just gaining so much attention recently, and they're building all these college teams. And there are players to fill the spots, but not as many as like the million high school football players that play. Lastly, to show the how rapidly it's growing, at the high school level, in an article on USALacrosse.org, senior marketing manager Lane Arrington created the chart. From 2000 to 2014, lacrosse has grown from 203 to 350 teams, and that's NCAA teams, not high school teams, and that's an exponential growth, and that's nearly, I think it's like 98% or something, maybe a little less, but 90% area, and that's huge. Most sports don't grow like that. The other closest was like women's field hockey at 50% or something, and it just shows how quickly the sport's moving. To conclude, we talked about the roots and how it came from Native American culture and how what it means to the Native Americans. We talked about its similarities to other sports, which is why it should be it should have more attention because it's so similar to other sports in America that are loved. And we talked about the rules, and we talked about lastly, um, we talked about how quickly it's growing and your percentage of making it if you put your kid into lacrosse, his percent of making it into college lacrosse. So knowing this information, the question is why would you not expose your child to lacrosse and expose yourself to the new sport? Thank you.